You finally found the perfect car in Racing Blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense. Keep going. More. No, stop!
Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the Red Raider Coaches Show. My name is Brent Johnston, along with coaches Matt Wilson and Thad Williams. I got these two together again this week. I think sort of a halfway point in the season as we've collectively looked back at the start of the season as we sit 3-2, and then we have 4 games ahead of us as we trying to get to that region schedule. We're one of the smaller regions in the state. There's a handful that are with just 4 teams in their region, so we have a lot of non-region games, and that's what this gauntlet that we have gone through so far. And we'll talk about one more test tonight, as a matter of fact, that we're going to head over to Wrightsville, Georgia, and face Johnson County, and we're excited about that. First of all, I want to thank all of the sponsors that make this possible. I don't call them out by name. That's why I stick some commercials and some slides in there to do that, because I'd always miss somebody and just won't take the time because these coaches are busy and preparing, especially when it's a game day like today. But I do want to thank each and every one. But specifically, I want to mention Bennett Johnson Insurance, Mr. Daniel Johnson, for being title sponsor for Red Raider Broadcasting, and all that they do for the Booster Club as well. So I want to thank them specifically. Well, guys, last week, man, let me give a few props first of all to East Lawrence. That was a great environment. A beautiful stadium. I'm partial to a grass field overall. But man, that was one of the best looking, turf fields I've seen. And it's the stadium layout. I didn't run into any. We didn't have to. I didn't have to speak with any administration or anything. We just went in and went right to the visitors booth, and it was really nice and clean. And man, they had this light stuff going. It's like, was it a rock concert? Is what somebody said. It was pretty cool. And then I saw some stuff on Facebook. Hey, we need to get that for our stadium. I was like, whoa, we need a visitors box for our stadium first. Okay, let's start with a nice visitors box for the people coming in. But anyway, yeah, it was really cool. And they got some excitement in their community. Obviously, they had a pretty good crowd. It was homecoming. That always helps. But going into that game, we had a little fun with whether it was. We don't think it was deliberate. It was a portion of their coach's show last week where Coach said something about us not being maybe as physical as a couple teams that they had played before. And again, right now, I don't think he meant that to diss us. That was just part of that conversation. But we took that little clip and ran with it, and it provided a little bit of motivation and whatever it takes. And I'm sure every coach in the state will do that. And we had some fun with it on the broadcast. A lot of folks that have rewatched it and really paid attention to how many times we exaggerated, but we wasn't exaggerating. We played really, really physical on both sides of the ball. Very complete game, and we'll discuss those from. This is one of the most complete games from defensively, offensively, and with special teams. I don't know when the last time that Bacon County has scored in all 3 areas of the game. I don't know who would hold that or have that documentation, but I would sure love to know when that might have happened. Maybe more recent than I remember, but it was definitely fun to watch. So offensively, last week when we were at East Lawrence, what did you see that really impressed you? I know, let's talk a little bit about that first quarter and how things kind of transpired, and then as we gained a little momentum after that.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Brent. The first drive, first 7 plays was beautiful. If you look at it, we went, boom, first down, boom. Every play we got, we ran, and then we really actually walk in the end zone, and then we get a penalty, and then that set us back, and then we get a turnover. So that's kind of what we talked about. Just everything looked good, but then on offense, everybody has to do their job. One person does wrong, everything gets messed up. So, and then the next drive, we driving down the field, we turn it over again. So, and we talked about it before, we go over this stuff in practice, I promise you. We work on it, we work on ball drills and stuff like that, but it's just, and when you get in the game and it happens, thankfully the defense stepped up and was holding them good long enough, and then finally, toward the end of the second quarter, we started to roll, and then by the second half, we was mowing them down, and it just, don't turn the ball over.
Don't turn the ball over. That's right. You mentioned that penalty, and I went down at half and was talking to my dad, and my dad can be overly critical sometimes. He understands how well we're doing, and it don't matter if it's Raiders, if it's Georgia, if it's whoever. He mentioned that penalty. But there's going to be penalties. These guys are going to make mistakes.
They are.
But what you don't want it to happen is when that mistake takes points off the board on that play, and that's what it is. That just magnifies it.
It does.
And then, like you said, the turnover magnified the penalty. We were it was like me and this guy was saying, we were so in control of the game, it just wasn't on the scoreboard, And I've been a part of games like that for too many seasons for the Raiders where we played really well and we just couldn't quite get it. But like you said, the defense, man, golly, I mean, they stepped up and just keep flying around there, flying to the ball, making tackles. There's very seldom I see a missed tackle. I might see a guy not make the tackle, but what he does, he makes it easier for the next guy to come in and then make the play. They slow him down, turn him in or whatever. But talk a little bit about that first half specifically, our defense.
I think we executed the game plan very well. We on Tuesday, me and Coach Wilson kind of get together on Tuesday. We kind of work open field tackling, so that's what we kind of put a lot of emphasis on. So. We wanted to be real physical that game, so we wanted to bring a lot of heat and just emphasize on making those open field tackles. So that's what we kind of wanted to do, and I was very proud of those guys. And as I told y'all before, we worked for the shutout.
That's right. That's right. Very close.
That's us again.
You're talking about physicality. The very first play of the game set the tone when we sacked that quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, that set the tone of I believe, the rest of the game. But you talk about them scoring, and I know that's your goal. You said that first show you were on, and probably should have been a shutout.
Yeah.
Kudos to them. They made it was a great play call.
Yeah.
They've been throwing them little outs all for all the first quarter and majority of the second quarter. Little funk fake and brings our corner in. And he makes a great throw. Just a great play.
Yeah,
just got to give them kudos. Get the 2-point conversion. Suddenly we dominated the first half, it felt like, and now we're down 8-0.
Yeah.
And then our special teams come into play. Coach Wilder's not here, but he is a special teams coach. And I know he's proud of that. But take us through that and as far as I know we know how special teams can hurt us.
Yeah.
But a play like that, what does it do for a team?
Oh, momentum swing. In football, especially high school football, a momentum swing is huge. And that's what it did. And obviously you saw it. And then I think the defense scored, and then we had a pick six.
That's right.
Right after that. And then they stop and we get the ball back, and then we score.
Score again.
So like you said, all three, especially the defense, offense, all scored within 5 minutes.
4 minutes.
Okay,
It was like 4 minutes and 12 seconds. I mean, we scored 3 times in 4 minutes.
That's
4 times in 5 minutes. First minute of the second half.
and that's what I mean, momentum.
That's right.
It switches quick.
Right. And I told the guys at halftime what I was most proud about was how they responded. Based on circumstances from last year, we kind of couldn't handle those situations. Like how we handled them past Friday night. And I think we're learning, and I always tell them, I say, hey, that's how you respond. That's what we're going to have to do when it comes to playoff ball. So
That's right.
we're learning, and I was very proud that we responded the way we did. And I was really surprised at, some of the players, and some of them got a little down, but the other guys picked them up. So.
Well, that's what it's about, and again, folks, these are 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, teenagers, and they're going to make mistakes, they're going to make penalties, and I promise you, and they'll tell you, they'll do drills and stuff every week, every day, to minimize those things. But like you just said, for them to keep the attitude, again, that's part of that culture that y'all are changing with mentality and attitude. And that's good to see. And we can see it from the fans, from the stands, I should say, and the fans and us in the booth, just how they just go about their business. Sure, they get fired up after a big play, but they right back at it,
That's it.
And the patting guys on the helmets and the butts when they're coming off the field, congratulating them. These guys make a good play, big play, and we had a lot of them that night. And so from the first half, suddenly, we felt like we were in control, and then now we sort of were. Wasn't over with, but then. Again, we go into half, come back out, and we score pretty quick there. I think that's when Slade made that run.
It was.
And I made a reference to Rashid back his freshman year when we were at East Lawrence. Yeah, he kind of had a breakout game there, especially rushing. He had a couple long runs, and that reminded me of when he made a long run there, and that was just great for that young man. Another good kid, senior, just. I want him to stay healthy and to keep playing hard. He's going to have an opportunity to play some extra ball, and we're excited about that. But that pretty much just, that was kind of the dagger there. But guess what? We kept playing. And we scored a couple more times. Talk about that. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, after that, it was just we just kept moving. I mean,
they got to stop us.
Yeah, they do.
They got to lay down.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Okay.
and I'll be honest. What we like, and we preach a lot. Coaches like we like it at the end if we can get the young guys in.
And we did.
And they moved the ball
They moved
too.
the ball.
And I was real proud of them. They had just won our JV game
They did.
against ATCO, just beat them, and now they getting to play on Friday. So, and I'll be honest, they got to be on that scout team during the week, and they get beat up a little bit.
That's right.
But they get better.
That's right.
And we told them that don't be scared. Get in there, and you'll get better. And you can see they're going. That's the future.
That's the future.
And we care about it. I mean,
we don't. Some people are like, why don't you talk about the kids more individually and call names out and that sort of thing? And we try to avoid that for multiple reasons. But I want to mention two kids that came in that stepped up in the JV game because you brought it up. LeBron Smith as the quarterback done a great job at the JV the day before. And he come in and run the last few plays, and then Travis Cawthorn, the little running back, come in the wing position. He had a couple, one nice run, and then one basically had a good cut, and it got first down and sealed the deal. Then we get the most favorite play in sports when you get the kneel down on it in football.
Best play.
Victory
formation.
So that's the future though. Those guys are sophomores, and it's just exciting to see when you can put yourself in a position to give those guys a chance at the Friday Night Lights, because it's different than playing in a JV game. They're getting a good experience out there, but there's nothing like playing on Friday night with a big crowd, and so that's awesome. We was able to put ourselves in that position by a lot of fast and physical play that night.
Indeed.
That's the physical play. All right, so we're going to go transition right into this week. Guys, I watched a little film. I think they lost a couple of their running backs from last year. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, they had a three-headed monster. They had three guys that had over 1,000 yards rushing. Is it a true wing T style offense they're in? Maybe not true. It's under center all the time.
It's a wing T formation. But they really run more sweeps and stuff like that. They did more sweeps and stuff like power ball. They don't do all the same plays as wing T, but it's that formation.
Okay.
Same formation.
Well, this team, or that team last year that we faced, they were pound for pound maybe the best team we faced all season long. So this is the team from last year. It was 13-1. Went deep in the playoffs. Lost in the Final Four to
Sly.
To Schley, and then
Lost to
and then Schley lost in the finals. But we mentioned that Schley is they hammer again this year. They're maybe even better than they were last year. But they did beat Clinch County pretty handily there last year in the Elite Eight, I think it was. So we're talking about a team that they're experienced. They know how to win, know what it takes to win. The coaching staff and these boys, they lost a couple of those running backs, but I think number one came back.
Yes.
He plays both sides of the ball almost every play, and that's kind of what you want with your best player, especially in their division. They're even smaller than us. They're in the Division II A. The smallest classification. Now, who knows where we're all pan out next year when things come out? We could possibly be playing against some of those teams, but in region play, or in the playoffs. But tell me a little bit about offensively. Defensively, what do we expect from Johnson?
All right. Well, first off, like you said, Johnson is just traditionally a football school.
Yeah.
Anytime you live on Herschel Walker Drive, you're gonna be a football school.
That's
I don't
right.
know if y'all noticed, but that's where Herschel Walker went.
That's right. That's right.
So they take a lot of pride in it, and they have a lot of tradition. So that's start there.
Yeah.
And defensive, they're physical. They are physical, and they'll hit you in the mouth. I can tell you number wise, I know one of their defensive ends, number 15, he's a load. I mean, he's a defensive end, number 15. He'll be a load. We got to be able to handle. Their two inside linebackers, 9 and 4. They're fast and they get to the ball. And then number 1 is an outside backer on the opposite side of 15.
Okay.
So I feel like they kind of do that they put 15 on one side and 1 on the other. So you can't pick a side. You're just gonna have to. I think that's what they do. So you can't just run away from it. You got to be able to do your job. But they are a good team. They're fast and physical too, and we're going to have to play. I mean, they're a good team. Traditionally, like you said, they know how to win. So anytime you play a team like that, you got to have your A game.
Yeah.
And that's what we plan to do. Is just got to execute. No turnovers, no penalties, and just be able to execute. We think we'll be all right.
From a offensive standpoint, you being the defensive coordinator, what can we anticipate from Johnson tonight?
Well, they got athletes. They got athletes, and they got a big physical O-line, and we got to match that physicality tonight. Got a good athlete, number 1. We got to know he at all times. He can be at quarterback, can be at wing. So every play we identify him. We point him out like, hey, we know where he's at, and we just got to stop him. We got to stop him, kind of similar to the Clinch guy. Yeah, we just got to stop him. We got to know he at all times. Got a good fullback, number 9. They'll switch out number 11. Backs, number 5. Quarterback, number 12. So receiver, number 7. So we gotta play in all 3 phases. Special teams, offense, and special defense. So they like to run the ball. So we're shutting out and stopping the run, and we just got to know we're number 1 today. I don't care if you're in the stands, we're going to point them out.
Somebody's going to be on the right?
So that's what we got to do. Like I said, they good football team. And we got to accept the challenge. And I've been telling everybody that's asking me in town, what is Friday going to be like? Well, it's going to be a dogfight.
It is.
That's what I want to see, man. That's the games that's going to prepare us. Like for the playoffs, these types of games, these teams. Everybody wants to win. And I think we can go over there and win tonight. I'd be lying if I didn't. But we want some good competition to get our boys better.
Right.
Win or lose.
Right.
As long as we're improving, cut down on the mistakes. Hopefully we won't have any injuries or anything like that. And we was talking about it earlier. And why do we play why don't we play region games a little earlier in the season? Because teams beat themselves up and then you get a region schedule, especially like ours, we're only just a couple games. But we just want our boys to get better.
That's it.
And this is a game that's going to do it. And so we're excited about playing Johnston County. I think this is only our 3rd time meeting them. Last year we took a butt whooping. We did. But we got something for them this year. We're going to bring some athletes and some physicality to the game, and we'll just see what happens. Again, I'm not making no predictions, but I feel like this team has got a great chance of going up there and competing, and that's all we've ever asked for is to compete and against a good team. And I'm sure it's going to be a great little venue in this town of Wrightsville. Where if you don't know who Herschel Walker is, I'm sorry. I really can't say anything more to that.
Also, I don't know if this is right, but Max Prep says this is their first home game since August 23rd.
Wow! So they're going to be
fired up.
They're going to be fired up.
We told them
this is their homecoming game.
Could be.
Could be.
I don't know if that's right, but we'll find out. But on Max Perez, this is our first home game since August 23rd.
Wow.
So it's like 5 weeks.
They're ready to see it, and their record's 3-2, and they played some pretty solid teams. The only game I guess we got to match up was the East Lawrence game, and East Lawrence scored a few more points that game than they did on us. But again, that's all part of the cat and mouse, trying to figure out those types of things. But we're encouraging you to make the trip. It's about 2 hours. I ain't gonna lie to you. You shoot up 19 and go to Wrightsville, Georgia. And again, the drive up's not as bad as that old drive coming home. But man, if we get that victory, man, you're gonna have something to talk about on the way back. So we'll be pretty jacked. So that's what we're headed. What we're going there for. We're going there to win. Compete and win always. Going for a shutout. And he wants to score some points.
Execute.
And execute. That's the key. So we encourage you to make that trip to Wrightsville to support our Red Raiders. If you can't, that's why we're there. We'll be there broadcasting live tonight. Myself and Sky Keck will be on the horn. And again, we're excited for this opportunity and the opportunity to compete. So again, I want to encourage you to come out, invite your friends and buddies, get somebody to ride with you, carpool, whatever it takes. Let's show up and show out tonight at Johnson County, and hopefully, again, we're going to celebrate getting better one way or the other.
Yeah.
Through win or loss, we're going to support our Red Raiders, and that's all we can. That's all we can ask for. That's all we can do. So, I want to thank you again, and these coaches for being here on this this edition of this week's Red Raider Coaches Show.